We are back again here with Inside LAFC podcast. I am Max Bretos. We have a cracking show for you. We will be joined by LAFC midfielder Timothy Tillman, who has been in form, so much so that he has been called up to the U.S. men's national team with the hopes of making Copa América later this summer. We'll see if he's able to accomplish that. And we'll talk about how he has played and improved his game from one season to the next. We are joined by co-host Stephen Beitashour. Beta is back. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. It's always great to see you, Max. How are you?
I'm excellent. What does that mean? What does that do for a team when one of the teammates gets a call up and you're because obviously it's good for him individually, but for the whole team, you're like, all right,
It's great. It's great. First of all, I'm very excited for him because I think he's been playing really well, and it's always nice to see guys get rewarded for their play. He's not one that talks a lot. He's not one that maybe doesn't get on the stat sheets, but when you watch him play, he plays really well. He plays for the team, so it's nice to see him get rewarded.
Oh, I'll get him talking, Beta. We'll see about that later. I'll get him talking.
Yeah.
We're very excited for Timothy, and we'll hear all about that. But we're really excited about where LAFC have been. We were on this podcast week in, week out, Beta, and we were like, when's this road win going to come? We were worried it may not come for a while. It was a real struggle. Defensively, this team was struggling, and then they have become the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Like Mad Max. Great movies, by the way.
We talked about it, right? Getting the monkey off the back. Now you can tell there's less pressure. They're having fun. They have changed their style a little bit. On the road, they're a little bit more conservative. They're slowing the game down. We talked about some of those points. As a former player, these are things that we remind the guys right before every game. So you could tell that Steve Trundle and that staff has done a great job of reminding the players, we're on the road, manage the game, frustrate the opponent, and let's get some results. Don't give up chances. Don't give up goals. And now look at them. They can't lose on the road.
And they're not giving up goals. We'll talk about their defensive record too, but these were two challenging road trips. And I think we were talking about that Open Cup game to Las Vegas, and I don't think we can say that was the springboard, but maybe in some ways, just getting on the road together certainly helped get them focused so that they could go to St. Louis, get a big win, their first road win, and back it up with Atlanta. Atlanta has struggled a little bit, but we know that's a big game. People in MLS get excited about that because you have the team that came in at 2017 and won an MLS Cup, and then the team that came in 2018 and won an MLS Cup. The teams that have a lot of ambition, that go out and spend a lot of money. Are ambitious with the players they've brought in. We know Thiago Almada for Atlanta is the most expensive footballer in this league. So this was always going to be tricky, even though Atlanta's not in good form. Big, long cross-country trip. There's some history there. We remember year one where Atlanta really laid into LAFC, and ever since that, LAFC's had the better of the rivalry. But this felt different. They threw in a little different look defensively, and they were able – it always felt to me that they were going to get the result here. It felt like there was control, and I think we could even say that about the St. Louis game too.
Those are some tough matchups. Going to St. Louis, they have a very good home record, great crowd, so that's a great result. And then Atlanta as well. They have a great crowd. We're going to bring up the turf. It's difficult to get used to. The ball bounces differently, and going into there and again getting the shutout and getting the victory, the 3 points. I think you have to tip the cap to the coaching staff and the players. Obviously they went in with a different formation as well. They went with the 3 center backs this game to kind of offset that 2-forward system that Atlanta liked to play. And so I think the game plan by Trundle was fantastic. And players came in hungry and fighting. You saw a couple tackles early. You just sensed it, right? That we know you guys are good. We know we're good. And both of them wanted to prove a point from the start. And you love those kind of games.
Do you feel, look, they're not going to win every road game. It's hard in this league. And the rule of thumb, win at home, get points on the road, you're going to do well. You win on the road, this is a different kettle of fish. And they're not going to win every road game, but it feels like we said, getting that monkey off the back, getting that feeling where they feel they can win some road games, and that they will probably avoid a long stretch where they can't get some results. It's almost a practice of just being able to show that, hey, this new group of players, we can do it collectively.
The best part about that is when you don't give up goals on the road, you're always giving yourself a chance to win. The ball can bounce your way on certain nights. And when you have those past couple road wins, now you have this self-belief like, man, we just stick in this game. We're going to get a chance. We're going to get a call or whatever. The ball's going to bounce our way, and we're going to get 3 points. And at the very least, you go home with a point. That's good. If you're going on the road and coming back with a point, you're happy more often than not. The guys are doing well. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's a different performance on the road than at home. I don't want people to think, what's the difference? You're at home or away. No, there's a difference. When you have that home crowd cheering for you, 32-52, you have a little pep in your step. But on the road, you got to manage the game, and LAFC has been doing that past couple of weeks.
I don't know if the coaches do that. I know I do it, where you look at the schedule and say, let's get a point here, maybe 3 points here. Yeah. 2 road games, they got 6. So I don't think anyone could have, especially the way they were playing earlier, because we're going to get 6 points on this stretch. They did it. We'll talk about the home stand coming up. 2 home games. The rule of thumb is LAFC will not leave empty-handed. Maybe they get 6 more. We certainly hope for it. You mentioned the defensive effort, throwing in the 3 center backs. LAFC has 3 center backs that they can throw out there. I think the addition of Maxime Chanot has gone a long way there. Aaron Long is having a great season. Jesus Murillo has been solid. There was, a couple moments there, I think, where they could tighten it up, but he is a guy that certainly is capable of being a top center back, and the club still has a lot of faith in the sense that they play 3 of them and they get a clean sheet. They're just throwing different wrinkles. And I think we start the story about the defensive effort where we didn't know, and we were worried that was this the right personnel? Well, it's looking like it is, because remember, changing goalkeeper, it was Crepeau McCarthy, Hugo Lloris, Giorgio Chiellini, who started the big games down the stretch, including MLS Cup. He retired. Chiqui Palacios is now in Brazil. I mean, those are 3 key spots, and they have been able to fill it. And it looks like a confident team. I mean, I'm sure if we talk to Steve and company, the other Steve, we'll talk to them about where they're at. There's always room for improvement. But with the group they have, even just a few weeks ago, we were unsure. It looks like a team strength now.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And you mentioned, anytime you're losing a left back, a center back, a goalie, and, the 6 with Kellen in front of you,
yes,
protects you. That's a lot. That's 4 guys. That's a lot of guys in that back group. You tend to say your back group is usually 6. You have your 4, your keeper, and then the 1 in front. And so when you're losing 4, that's a lot to kind of figure out again with new players coming in, whether they were here and now they're starting. It takes time to build that camaraderie, to build that trust, and just figuring out the tendencies. As a former right back, I would love to know that it was the same center back next to me every time, because I know if he's an aggressive center back that likes to step and I have to cover, or is he one that likes to just back off and then maybe I tuck in more and try to step into things. Little details like that, you just love being familiar with those teammates, and that takes time. It takes weeks, sometimes months, where you don't even have to talk. You just know, it's just, I know what he's doing right now. I'm just going to go here. And that's when you see these clean sheets coming. That's when you're giving your team the best opportunity to win, because if you don't give up a goal, you're not going to lose. So they're flowing right now. They're flowing right now for sure.
I should also mention Ryan Hollingshead, who's missed big stretches, but he came off the bench, but he was the starting right back. They've had to platoon guys at the fullback spots. And Omar Campos, who, you could see some growing pains, is really, since the Open Cup, is really coming to his own and put his hand up to say that you can trust me, I'll get some minutes for you. You kind of said it, and I don't want to be soccer 101 here, where you said, hey, if you don't give up goals, you can be in games. And I know people might laugh, but there's an attitude about that, to know that like we're not going to concede. There was issues with set piece defending. They've alleviated that to a good degree. I know there's still room for improvement. They haven't given up a lot of set pieces. They haven't given up a lot of big opportunities to opponents. That puts you in a position to win games. And if you don't give a goal, I know it sounds pretty basic, you're not going to trail games, and that confidence starts to grow. If the rest of the team feels that the defensive side is in order, it has to give confidence for the whole team.
You would think that it sounds so basic and so easy that everybody would just agree and be like, yeah, let's just focus on that. But you'd be shocked and amused at how many people just forget to talk about it, forget to focus on it. You have to start with the defending. If you go crazy and send your fullbacks up and you're exposed to the counter and you concede early, well, now you're chasing. Now you have to spread out even more. Now you have to push for it even more, and then you're going to concede again and concede again. Snowball effect. People don't understand, and they underestimate the value of keeping that clean sheet, keeping that defensive record, and then you're going to win. And then you're going to start scoring goals. Now the opponent is going to have to kind of chase the game, expose themselves when they have the ball, and now you can counter. So it's one of those things where no one likes to talk about the defending side. It's not pretty. Everyone likes to see goals. But I honestly think you're going to win more games. You're going to win championships when you focus on defending. Right now, LAFC is doing that. You can see it from not just the back group. It's from the front line. Everybody's bought in. Everyone's defending. Everyone's fighting for each other. And it's a good recipe.
Yeah. I would say that Kike Oliveira to me stood out. The guy who gets back, Denny gets back, and they help out the defensive efforts. They close space out to make teams find it difficult to operate. And it's not just the 2 road games. If you include the Open Cup game, this is 4 games without conceding a goal. Yeah. And if you look at the data, if a team goes in front of LAFC, their chances of winning games goes way down. And I think that's what Vancouver, when they played at BMO Stadium, was thinking. Let's get the goal, we'll win. They didn't. LAFC. St. Louis, the same thing. If they get their noses out in front, it's bad news. You don't let that happen. And there you go.
Yep. And there have been moments where you kind of mentioned it earlier that they just need to tighten the screws just a little bit more. There have been a couple opportunities, and Lloris has come up huge on a couple moments. Rios, fortunately for LAFC, missed a big chance in the first half, just whiffed the ball on a cutback from Lennon. Those are moments where if he hits the target, he scores. Now we're talking, what do you have to do? Now do you have to start chasing the game? Now instead, when Lloris gets the ball from a goal kick, where you see him taking his time, slowing the game down and frustrating the opponent. Now, is he rushing? Is he getting the ball quickly and putting in play? So all those little nuances of the game, it's based off the score line, right? You can't just go one way and be like, yeah, it's this easy. No, you have to play the circumstances. You have to play the home games, the road games. They're all different. So it's fun. That part I do miss about it, but LAFC, they're doing well. They have to continue this. Don't get complacent and be like, yeah, we figured it out, and then it's gonna just keep going. Continue to do this work.
There's been some good fortune too. There was 2 chances where Murillo kind of got caught, and then they had a breakthrough, and Lloris made the save. And it was with a back pass from Hugo that there's a little entanglement there, but then he made the save as well. So I love the fact that there's a little something gets through, but collectively they close it down, which they did on both occasions late in the game to preserve the clean sheet.
Exactly.
Well, a big number we hit this victory with over Atlanta, 100 regular season MLS wins, 100 MLS regular season wins. LAFC did that in 206 games, which tied the fastest with the Seattle Sounders. I think everyone would love to have been the quickest. Seattle is the benchmark, so it's not horrible company to keep by any means. And with 2 away games, I think a lot of people were saying win 100 probably won't come until these home games against Minnesota and Dallas. Well, it came sooner, so we're all happy about that. And that's big. History is young. You were part of a lot of these wins. We're trying to tabulate it. We think it's somewhere between 30 and 40. But you were part of this, and those wins lead to 100, and then it'll be 1,000 wins one day, and that all matters. But the history this club makes is important, especially when it's the kind of history that says you're winning games.
Yeah, it definitely is important. I did catch that over the weekend, the 100th regular season win for LAFC. And even though I'm not with the team anymore, I still felt that, like, in my heart, I was like, man, I was part of that. I was there for the first one at Seattle. And then you mentioned it, probably 30 in total in the 2 years I was there. And so it's really cool to see, not just to get the 100th win, but, tie the record for fastest to 100. It just shows you the benchmark that they set from the beginning, from 2018, my first year with LAFC, to now. it's been one thing, and it's been to win. And it's tough to say that, right? You can say it, but to do it, it's really impressive. And one of the opponents coming up, Minnesota, they were an expansion team the year before. They've had a tough time, right? They've had a tough time figuring it out. It's not easy. Atlanta started off well, but now they've had a bit of a rough stretch. And so for LAFC to do it and win so quickly and continue to win every single year, it's impressive with the turnover, with the salary cap league. It just shows you have to give credit to John Thorrington and that staff and the coaching staff and the ownership group. You have to give credit to all those people that have talked about building something so great and actually living up to the hype. It's really cool.
That's a great answer, because Atlanta wanted to be that standard in 2017. Yep. They came out, they made it. They were great. I mean, they won the MLS Cup. I was at year 2, year 3.
Year 2, yeah.
And we said that's the team, but they haven't been able to maintain that. And no club after LAFC has been able to do that in this era of these new expansion clubs, where you figure you have a leg up because you've seen how clubs do it, how to build a club effectively, but no one's really done it. The only team beforehand has been Seattle, Portland to a lesser degree, but they've been kind of up and down. But LAFC, I mean, they missed the playoffs that one year in 2021, but that's it. They have been there, and that standard feels – it feels like it's here. I mean, maybe there will be a bad year for LAFC. Knock on wood. There will be – but every year they maintain that standard. And I think once you put that shirt on, whether you're a new player, you feel that, okay, this is heavy. I wear this LAFC shirt. That means I've got to match the standard that's been set.
Yeah, 100%. You know it when you put on that jersey, that crest. It has, some of the biggest clubs in the world, whether, Real Madrid, Barcelona, it's when you put on that crest, that I have to perform for this. It's not about me. It's not about being selfish. They have a certain expectation, and you have to win. You really do, and they've done that. They've done that. Just look at the trophy case. Like, what's it been, 5-6 years, and the amount of trophies already. Club that's finally doing well now, Cincinnati. How many years did they struggle?
Yeah.
And now they're doing well. Now they figured it out. So there is no just here's the blueprint, just do this and you'll succeed. No, it's difficult to win as an expansion team and to be so consistent every single year. And so you have to tip your cap to LAFC and what they've done in such a short amount of time.
I love what you said about Cincinnati, because they've set a standard for 3 years, but they haven't set it from the beginning, from day one. The way LAFC has done. So it's very special. And if you're a supporter of LAFC, you embrace that. And I see the expectations when LAFC loses. People get up in arms. Hey, this is not that's kind of the situation you're in when you are that commitment to excellence, which LAFC has had, that if 2 or 3 games you don't win, a little panic kicks in. That's the way it is. We got to get used to that part too, Beta.
It is and it isn't, because it's funny. I remember in 2019 where we were doing so well, even on the road, and we talked about this earlier, even on the road, if we drew, we were furious as the away team. And I've never seen that on any of my other teams. Maybe a little bit in 2017 with Toronto FC, but no one talks about we expect to go on the road and win. We're taking 3 points. And if we draw, we are pissed. Like, how cool is that? Just think about how good your team has to be and how successful you have to be to have that mindset. Man, Jordan Harvey and I, we joked about it, man. Like, we went into every game like, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. It's a pretty cool feeling. And LAFC, congratulations on the 100th win. It's pretty remarkable, and they're just gonna keep rolling.
And that messes with opponents, because they do it. Because most teams don't play to win. They don't. We've seen that. They go on the road and go, we're going to be very practical here, conservative. The LAFC is a little different.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So in St. Louis, we got some toasted ravioli. Went to Atlanta, got some barbecue, maybe some Waffle House. But I don't know about you. Are you ready for some home cooking? I know a nice little LA home cooking here. 2 games in a week. It's going to be busy. It's been a busy stretch. But 2 games in a week now for LAFC to get the payoff for what they did away. And now LAFC was like in the 7th or 8th spot, struggling a bit. Now, they're coming into this next match day. They're in the top 4 in the West. If things go well here, they could find themselves higher than that. So, I mean, all that work has been put in to set this up. And LAFC, this right now is as good as it's been for the club in 2024.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Their mouths are drooling, not for the home cooking, but because they have 2 home games coming up against 2 opponents that you would think they're going to take 6 points between the two. But you still have to perform. It's the game of football. You can't just give me the 3 points, don't even show up. You still have to come out and put in the work. But definitely playing in front of 3252, in front of your home crowd, they're going to put out performance, and you expect them to get the 6 points out of the 2.
LAFC still has some injuries. They're incorporating guys into the team, but they used 4 subs in Atlanta, so I think we might be able to see Steve Cherundolo feel more confident about more guys. We talked about Mueller and Duenas and guys that were getting bit roles, but they're featuring in every game. Ryan Hollingshead is back in that Atlanta game, so it feels like that roster is getting bigger. We know it's going to make a big jump in the summertime with Giroux and whoever else joins the club. Chanot is now settled in. So now you get that chance. It's 2 games, and it's whatever you want to. I mean, you want to get the 6 points, certainly at least 4. Minnesota's been really good this season. They're one of the teams that are currently ahead of LAFC. Minnesota beat LAFC back in March up at their place. They've been a really nice story. I like the way they play. Dallas has been a struggle. This past weekend, they were beating Real Salt Lake 3-1. They thought they had their marquee victory. It ended 3-3. RSL, another team in front of LAFC. We look forward to that home matchup later on between LAFC and RSL. So it's 2 different teams, 2 different games, but I think LAFC, will see them look a little different. I don't know if we'll see the 3 center backs looking in these games, but I like the fact they did that because it throws a wrinkle. Yeah. And we talked about teams don't come away looking for wins. I don't think Minnesota nor Dallas are going to feel that way unless they get a couple of breaks. The ball is in the court for the black and gold.
Yeah, before they play the game, if you can look at the 2, you probably say the tougher matchup will be Wednesday against Minnesota. Obviously, they're almost neck and neck with LAC in the standings. But if you look at the stats, the last 5 games, unbeaten. They started off really well. They had the new coach, his assistant from Man U coming in. And the guys have bought in and have been playing well. They actually just were here, played the Rapids this past weekend. We're up 3-1, gave up two late goals to draw 1-1. But I would say between the 2 matchups, the Minnesota is going to be the tougher matchup. Dallas, obviously, they are struggling a bit this season. But regardless, you can't overlook Minnesota and go straight to Dallas. You have to take care of business on Wednesday. You have to be ready for the best lineup. Sometimes you rotate. Sometimes teams like to rotate on that Wednesday game. So I don't know what Minnesota is going to do. Are they going to send their full team in? But you have to come in. You're at home. You have to take the 3 points. You're not traveling. And again, get ready. Quick rehab, recovery for the guys whoever played and is going to play on Saturday, and quick turnaround against Dallas. So you do all that, you're going to come home with 6 points. You're at home. You're going to come away with 6 points.
Yeah, it's going to be a grind of a week, but the good news is they don't have to go to the airport. They don't have to jump on a plane. I mean, there's no days off this week, but it's training, so they'll get the most out of it. And maybe the goal, I mean, the away games, they didn't score a lot of goals. 2 in St. Louis, 1 in Atlanta. Prior to that, LAFC was thumping, so we saw what Matty Bogusz can do. We know Denny Bouanga has goals in him. Timothy Tillman's been scoring. Kike Oliveira's been scoring. Timothy Tillman will leave with national team duty after the game on Saturday, and we got to find out more. I should have double checked, but I don't know if they've announced it all. But how that affects Kike Oliveira, who we expect to be with the Uruguayan national team for Copa América. So more reason to go out after it in these 2 home games, because many MLS clubs are going to be affected this summer with not just the Copa América, but the Euros and the Olympics later on. So it's going to be crazy. I can't wait, but my heart starts to race when I think of all that soccer going on, Beta. It's too much.
It's going to be a lot. But you kind of alluded to it about the 3 center backs. Being at home, I don't picture Cherundolo going with 3 center backs. You want more attackers on the field at home. You want to score goals. You want to go after the victory. So I can't imagine that he does that, but it is a nice little wrinkle that if he wants to throw at them, he could.
Beta, I got some heat from Harvey last week because we did Black and Gold Rewind, and we looked back because it was an Open Cup week. We looked back at the loss to the Houston Dynamo in 2018 in penalties, and it was like, but it was a great. It was we brought a lot of stuff to the surface. It was excellent. I'm not going to make you go through that, but since we're playing Dallas, I want to talk about a game in 2018. A game where you scored in, my friend. It was a very special occasion. Do you remember this LAFC Dallas matchup? Of course you do.
Of course. It was my first goal for LAFC. How can I forget it? Latif jumping and almost knocked me. He was running at me 100 miles an hour. I was not ready for it after I scored. Diego played the nice through ball. We talk about running off the edge all the time, just off of the fullbacks going towards goal. And I had a nice little finish to the back post. So, yeah, I remember that game, of course.
There was a lot to it. And, again, it wasn't a victory for LAFC. It ended 1-1. It was a Maximiliano Urruti goal in the 55th minute, so you didn't get the game winner. Almost.
Yeah.
But this was special because the prior week, LAFC opened BMO Stadium. So this was just the second ever home game. So you walked in there and had that new stadium smell. Everything was working properly and beautiful and shiny. It still is. It's still very nice. But, they've had a lot of tread. There's been a lot of stuff in that stadium, a lot of important games. But back then, brand new. And we get so caught up in that first game. And this was also an afternoon game. So the first one's at night. Everyone had that on their date. First home game against the Sounders. And because we had the home schedule backlogged, you started on the road first 6-7 games of that season. You got a big run of home games. So this was the second one. How soon you start feeling comfortable in that new stadium?
Well, I mean, look at the stadium, how beautiful it is. The crowd, 32-52. The pitch was amazing. Every game we were excited to play at home. Obviously, the first one is a little bit more special. Also under the lights. I think that the day games, I know they're better for TV. ESPN loves to put those day games. But as a player, you like it when it's a little bit cooler, the temperature, the lights are on. You always talk about Friday night, Saturday night light games. And it gives you a little bit more extra energy. I don't know why, but this game I do remember against Dallas during the day. We started off well, but then you kind of saw both teams, the level just drop a little bit. And whether it was the heat, the pitch could have been dry because of all the sun. Everything slowed down, and it wasn't an exciting game where games in the past, you see us flying. If we score early like we did, we would have killed them 3-4-0. But it ended up 1-1. As the goal scorer for the night, which is rare for me, I would have loved nothing more than to get the victory. That's all I care about. My very first professional goal, I didn't celebrate because we were losing the game. I just said, get the ball, let's go back to half. So I'm one of those guys where I don't care, like, if I scored. I just want to win. That's all I care about. So it was kind of a bummer that we didn't win the match. But I will remember that game because it was my first goal for LAFC.
We remember it. I remember your celebration. I was sweating up in the stands watching that one. It was hot. I remember. I wasn't going to complain because you guys were going through it. I remember the shadows were taking forever to go off the field. And they were there. And then Bob Bradley continuing his campaign afterwards about no day games. He goes, we like to play at night. The field is fast.
Yeah.
It's beautiful for the fans and the players. We play at night. And on Apple TV, man, by and large, all games are at night these days, thanks to that. So
it's something as a player you honestly think about. You're like, man, the day game, we don't prefer it. It's funny.
I don't think the fans do either, by the way. I think the fans like to
something about the night games. It's just better. But like as a player, especially as an outside back, I would always remember, and even Jordan Harvey could probably say the same thing. You would just hope that whatever side you're on is the shaded side. So it depends which way you're going, right? So as a right back, it depends if we're going this way or that way. And one of the halves, you're going to be in the shade. And you're just like, man, I hope I'm in the shade this half because the sun's going to move and then I won't be in shade. Yeah. So it's just, fans don't like it. Players don't like it. But I understand TV likes it. So they play.
Yeah, it messes the tailgate, man.
Yeah.
The fans want a good tailgate. They want to get everything off the barbecue, get all ready to roll. So I think that was a 1:30 kick, if I wasn't mistaken. So that was early. That was a very early kickoff. But now we're back at night.
Yeah, it was early.
A nice, not so difficult black and gold rewind. But Beta, I want you to be on your toes because we're gonna have some hard ones down the road. I'm gonna hit you like I hit Jordan last week. So be prepared.
I'm curious now. I want to see why he gave you stick about the Houston game. I mean,
it was too much. It was too much pain. He was thinking about having to.
But didn't he score his penalty as well? So
yeah, but he felt bad for Latif and Laurent. That's the first thing he said.
Yeah, well, Latif too, I guess. But Laurent's one, we felt bad for him. The last one, that's what everyone remembers.
But he also said that could have been the first trophy, and they felt we could have had that first trophy for LAFC. So it has remained with them, needless to say.
Yeah, that one hurt. All right, I understand.
Very good. Black and gold rewind with Beta. Beta, excellent stuff as always. We'll circle back after these home games. We'll see where LAFC stands, but the good times are rolling right now. Let's just keep them going.
Yep, exactly. Can't wait.
Stephen Beitashour here on Inside LAFC podcast. We'll be back to talk with Timothy Tillman and his preparations for joining the U.S. men's national team.
Inside LAFC podcast is presented by Freeway Insurance. Driving savings.
We are back here on Inside LAFC podcast, a return guest, LAFC midfielder Timothy Tillman. And I know you're going to bring it, Tim, because last time we did this, your mom said she listened to it and loved it.
Really? I think she sent it to me as well, or I told her that I'm on it. So yeah,
she misses you.
Yes, of course. I miss her too.
That's lovely. I know you guys are a tight-knit group, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but I imagine she has to be thrilled that both her boys are doing so well and now going to be together with the U.S. men's national team at the beginning of next month.
Yes, she's very excited. I'm very excited as well. Looking forward to seeing my brother. It's his birthday today, so I still have to call him later. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him soon.
We can sing him happy birthday here, and you can clip this off and send it to him if you'd like.
No, thanks. I'll send it to him. I'll send it to him on a video.
Good. Well, we wish Malik a very happy birthday, and we're so proud of all of our national team players and what you guys have been able to accomplish, and we'll certainly talk about that. But I want to talk about the way you're playing right now, and I'm curious how you feel it feels to you, how it looks to you, because from our perspective, you have been one of the best at your position this year in Major League Soccer, hence obviously that call up. But the numbers back it up. You've started every game. You've started the Open Cup games, 4 goals, 2 assists. You have an Open Cup goal. When you're looking to play as well as you can, how much closer are you to that now than, say, last season?
I think I still have the same mentality as I did last season. This year, I'm just a little more successful. But yeah, always trying to just work hard, try my best every single training, every single game, focus on myself in between the games. And this year is going very good so far, and I'm hoping it continues like that.
Is there something different in the way you have found goal scoring opportunities? You scored 4 last season. You've got that many here, plus the Open Cup goal, and I imagine your expectations are to keep that going. Anything different there that you've noticed about finding those right spots?
Yeah, I'm just trying to reach the, let's say, PK spot offensively and defensively every single attack or defense. And yeah, I got lucky a couple of times. The ball bounced towards me. So yeah, as I said, I'm just hoping it continues like that. And yeah, I'm trying my best.
Well, we have an expression in the United States. It goes, "You make your own luck." You're free to use that. So get yourself in the right positions.
Yes, I will. I will do so.
So, playing the season against Atlanta, big road win for you guys. You played more of a two-man midfield, and they brought in the wing-backs. Normally, it would be the three-man midfield with you and Edward and Ilie. How are you able to? How easy is it to adapt, or do you feel like you have that game where you can? A lot of things can get thrown at you in the way you form as a midfielder.
I think the way we are trying to play in the midfield, also in the 4-3-3, it makes it easier for us to adapt to other systems. Just because we have like many different roles in our midfield as well. So I think the change to two midfielders wasn't that difficult for us, especially because Edu and I aren't like just offensive thinking players in midfield. We can think defensively as well. So I think that wasn't too difficult for us. And yeah, we just had to adapt our systems because we were missing players. And yeah, as I said in the beginning of the season already, I think throughout the whole season we will need every single guy on the team, every single guy on the roster. And yeah, now it's big time for everyone.
You mentioned the defensive duties. So, like when a team gets, as you have, 4 clean sheets in a row, we would ask that to Hugo or the defenders. But you guys play a big role in that, and everyone does. I mean, Denny and Kike. What has been different where you weren't able to get the clean sheets, where now you're getting one after the other? Some things on the field that you've noticed that you guys have had that attention to detail, and things have gotten better where the defensive side is so much better.
Yeah, I think first of all, defense starts up front. So right now it's been Mati a lot of times who starts defending for us. But I think the most important thing for us as a team was the compactness. We were lacking compactness in the beginning of the season. Our lines were very stretched. Like the distance between Mati and our defenders was just too big, and we gave away too much space for the opponents to pass through or to combine through, or even just win second balls. So yeah, we got better at doing or staying compact the last couple of games. And then also like set pieces, we defend set pieces really well right now, which has been a problem before. But yeah, overall, I think it's also a lot about confidence. Right now, we just feel confident defending also, not just attacking. So we can give away the ball sometimes and just try to defend and try to have a dangerous counterattack. It's
interesting you say all that, Timothy, because I've seen it all effectively in the way you've played. You can see that difference. So I knew it. I knew that was going to be the answer. All the details, from set pieces to the transition game as well. Let's talk about the national team. You're on a 27-man roster for Copa América. There'll be 26 players. So you're going to leave after this weekend and then start the camp after the Dallas game?
Yes, after the Dallas game, I will fly there.
And you will still have to make this team, correct? So you will still have to show off to Greg Berhalter that you're capable, but that the possibility is there.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, we're very excited about it, and we have faith in you. What was it like when you were notified? Was it something you were expecting, or is this because I thought you certainly earned it, but there's so many good midfielders for the national team, including your brother, that it's a tough one to crack. So how surprised were you when you got the news?
Yeah, honestly, I was very surprised. I didn't hear you in the end.
No, that's right. Just how surprised were you?
Okay, yeah. I was very surprised, to be honest. But also, yeah, I felt like I've been doing well in the beginning of the season. So I also feel like, okay, I kind of deserve it. But yeah, right now it's just, I just want to show myself. I know about my role on the national team right now. I will have to challenge the guys there. But I will also just try my best to help the team, help every single one to perform at their best level. And yeah, then I'll hope to make it to the Copa.
it's harder to make the national team playing in MLS. Just you look at the numbers. It used to be heavy MLS. Now so many Americans playing overseas. You are one of 4 players who play in MLS to make it, and you're the only one under the age of 26. How's playing for LAFC helped you, do you think, make this team and playing in this league?
Yeah, it helped me a lot. I think, especially coming from the 2nd division in Germany. The focus of the US national coaches is more on the MLS than on the 2nd German division, probably. So, yeah, it helped me if you see it this way. But also, LAFC just helped me improving as a player. I think I just got a better player. I got more of an all-rounder here. And this year, I'm also scoring pretty well so far. So, yeah, it's been a lot of things that come together. I'm just very happy right now. I really enjoy being here, and yeah, I think that's the recipe.
Yeah, it shows in your football. Now, German midfielders who played in Germany, we know can play a lot of different positions. We know you more as an 8 here. You mentioned the goal scorer, and you could be a little advanced. Can you possibly play kind of like a 6? Do you think you can play multiple roles as that midfielder?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can play a lot of positions, even though like not even just midfielders. I think I can see myself more offensive too, but also maybe a little more defensive, not as a single 6 maybe, but as a double 6 or yeah, let's not talk about that too much. I don't want to play anywhere else, but I could play somewhere else, I think.
He's like turn the page. Well, they do play in that double pivot, and it probably benefits to see you want to play your position, but to make the team, Timothy can, and I imagine that's probably why you're there, that he could probably play multiple roles.
Yeah.
Timothy's like, we're moving on. Well, whatever it is, we were excited to see if you can make that, and we're excited to see what does it mean to. You obviously had. How often do you get to play with your brother on a competitive stage, whether it's with the club or country?
The last time I played together with him was probably when I was like 10, 11 years old, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, after that, I didn't play with him anymore.
You guys went your separate ways.
Huh?
You guys went your separate ways then, football-wise.
Yeah, that's how academy works in Germany.
This is very rare that you guys will obviously practice. There'll be some build-up games that you'll participate. So if you and Malik take the field for whatever amount of time, we're seeing the Tillman brothers playing together for the first time in 14, 15 years.
Yeah, that would be a big honor, super special to the whole family, I think. And yeah, that's what we will try to do.
Well, we look forward to that, and I'm gonna keep an eye on that because I know that's very special. And by the way, Timothy, I speak on behalf of everyone here at LAFC. To see one of our own make the national team is massive, and we take a lot of pride in that too. So, congratulations and thank you from all of us here at LAFC.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You wear that little black and gold under the red, white, and blue. It'll be okay. It's not a conflict.
Yes, I will.
And we look forward to seeing you with your brother as well. Timothy Tillman joining us here on Inside LAFC Podcast. He'll have a couple games with the team before he sets sail to join with the national team and make that squad and play in the Copa América, which is a huge, huge tournament. Make sure you tune in for that. By the way, Kike might be there too, so you might.
Yeah. We might play against each other. Hopefully, we will play against each other at the Copa.
They're in the same group. Have you had any moments to talk to him about that before you leave?
We spoke about it 2 days ago, I think. We spoke about it a little bit. Yeah, that we just have to make it.
Yes. But make the team. USA opens with Bolivia, Panama, and then Uruguay's the final group game, and maybe there's another game. But this is going to be a fun tournament, Timothy. You got Messi in Argentina. You got the Brazilians out there. You got Mexico.
Yeah, it would be very, very big. Like I'd be very, very honored to go there. yeah, I'm just trying my best in the camp now, and then we'll see what's going on.
Honored and deserving. Best of luck, Timothy, and we'll see you on the other end when you come back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's all the time. And Mama Tillman will be watching, I am sure. We'll let her know that her son did great, as always. Make sure you check out the LAFC podcast. Rate, review, download, subscribe, tell a friend. We will be back again next week, getting ready for a week off for LAFC on the following weekend, and they get ready for a very busy summer. We'll see you then.